All right, I put my best shoes on today. My name's Aaron Krauser with Remax here in Kamloops. I work with my brother Chris, and our social media, we call it Your Kamloops. We don't only feature real estate related topics, but also community topics, etc., and everything that's going on in Kamloops. A lot of people are talking about green technology and eco-friendly this, and trucks have eco mode, and I have an electric car. This is at the forefront of lots of discussions these days. With the step code coming in, which is changing how the whole construction industry is going to be happening in the next 10 years, Miles Pruden of NexBuild Construction decided to knock it out of the park and try and build the most eco-friendly, energy-efficient home possible. It's unreal. This is getting national news coverage across the country. Mitch Forgy helped him build it, and let's go take a look. This place is awesome.
Hi, I'm Miles with NexBuild Construction.
I'm Mitch. I'm a customer of NexBuild Construction.
He also helped build this place.
Engaged customer.
An engaged customer. I wanted to build the best house I could. Some of the things I focused on were environmental sustainability, affordability, durability, a robust building that could hopefully last a really long time, and provide a healthy, easily cleanable environment for people to live in. The two biggest focuses were affordability and sustainability, which kind of go hand in hand, because if you don't have any energy bills, it's a lot more affordable to live. Our hard costs and our soft costs, so our construction costs, were $190 per square foot, including the garages. So pretty competitive price. And our power bills, I think, have ranged from about $40 to $450 for the year. How we got to net zero affordably, we use passive solar heat, so the orientation of the building is very important. It's faced almost directly south with its longest wall, and we collect heat from the sun and put it into the building in the winter. And then in the summer, we use nighttime air exchanges to cool down the building. We have a lot of concrete inside, so that sort of acts as a battery, either storing up coolness or storing up heat, depending on the season and what you need.
Basically, it's a giant basement in the sky.
Yeah, we built an above ground basement.
On the inside, one of the remnants of the formwork is you can see where the forms were on the outside, and basically they attach through to the styrofoam on the outside through a plastic web. Once you peel the form off, you're left with these little screw holes, which each one of them fits just like a normal construction screw. So for hanging anything on the wall, you can just throw it up to hang a picture, to hang cabinets, whatever you want. If you did want to finish the concrete, you could quite easily just put some concrete fill in there and have a finished concrete surface, or you could just drywall right into them as well. So you told me once that there's a lot of energy stored in the concrete. Mm-hmm. You did the math on how many Tesla batteries that would be.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that number?
Well, it's close to 20 kilowatt hours of energy. Tesla batteries like 7 kilowatt hours, so it's close to 3 Tesla batteries of energy in each unit. Then the garages store a lot of energy, although it's not directly connected to the unit, so there's a little lag on that. Basically, there's a lot of energy stored in the mass of the building. It's just heat energy, not electrical energy. It's much cheaper.
So when you were building the place, there was sort of two key ways that you were able to basically arrive at normal conventional construction hard costs, and that would have been the amount of trades that are used because of the way that the building envelope is built, and then the lack of mechanical.
Yeah, lack of mechanical, I think, is the most exciting part. We eliminated as many pieces that can fail in the building, so the mechanical is very simple, and it also in a lot of net zero homes, you'll have these elaborate systems that they take up a lot of space, and square feet are valuable. They also are intimidating to homeowners, because with good reason, because they can break down, and that increases your maintenance costs. I'm trying to build an affordable building. Those two don't go together very well. So we used like Lunos HRVs, no ducting. They're just embedded in the wall. They aren't too expensive, and they don't take up much space, and they're very simple.
Talking about the HRVs, the air quality inside, I mean, basically you have a concrete building that has very high air tightness through the sheer building technique. You know, you don't have to do a whole bunch of extra steps to make that happen. Mm-hmm. It just simply happens. When you're inside the unit, though, there's no stuffiness because of the HRVs, so there's a lot of air changes per hour.
I will say one other thing. Part of our nighttime cooling strategy and part of the reason we went with Lunos, other than they don't really take up any space in the building, the way the Lunos work is they have a thermal mass in them, and they draw air in one direction while another Lunos expels air on the other side of the building, and they alternate every 90 seconds. So they charge up that thermal mass and then they release the energy in the other direction. To override that HRV, all we do is draw air from the north side where it's shady and cooler typically, and expel it on the south side and just keep blowing the air in that one direction. Pretty soon that thermal mass is overwhelmed, it's reached its capacity. And so now they no longer act as an HRV, and they act as just expelling heat from your home at night. For our heat recovery, we just have a hot water tank, and then we have a couple of fans and automated dampers to manage the solar heat collection. Very little in the way of moving parts, very little in the way of maintenance. They're all cheap and easily replaced.
When we go inside, you'll see that there's a control panel that operates the HRVs, the fans, and the dampers, so all the mechanical that we talked about earlier. And you'll see how right now I think we're pushing 30 at the moment, maybe a little bit higher, and you'll see that when we get inside one of the units that we're hovering at about 20, 21 right now.
There's no natural gas hooked up to this place. We have 16 solar panels for each unit, 4 kilowatt system, that almost covers all of our electricity when it's net metered over the year. We don't have any batteries because those are expensive, and as much as I'd like them so that a house could keep operating through, say, a power outage, and I'd like to install them eventually, right now the cost of batteries is pretty high, although it's dropping quickly. Building envelope, it's like a monolithic piece of concrete. We used a modified ICF Nudura product. So we have exposed concrete on the interior of the home, and we have 6.5 inches of styrofoam on the outside. So we have a high R value, very little opportunity for air leakage. There's no wood that can shrink over time. You might find with a wood frame, you'll test it upon completion, and then a few years later, as the wood shrinks, you might get a few gaps. We don't have any issues like that. We don't have any issues with rot or dew point in our walls. It's very simple. It's just concrete and foam.
Yeah, so speaking of rot, tell me a little bit about the garages and the floodplain, because we are right beside the river.
We're on the floodplain.
It's going to flood.
Yeah, so we put garages under the units. I also think living in an apartment, you don't often have a garage, and a garage is an awesome thing to have for your little projects, your storage, whatever you like. So I was very happy to do this. So we put garages underneath. The walls are all concrete, foam, and you can see hardy board cladding. If and when it floods, we just have to get everything out of our garages, but when the water subsides, we just clear out any debris and water, and the building has minimal damage.
And you can see the channel drains at the bottom of the driveways, which is the obvious place to push the water.
We'll push the water into the channel drains as soon as the water table's down far enough. Yeah, the roof, we went with a standing seam roof, so we could just install the solar panels without perforating the roof membrane at all. So it's a pretty heavy gauge roof, and the added cost of that roof made up for itself in savings when installing the solar panels, because it was all just plug and play, clip, 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 done in no time.